I'm going to introduce our last commissioner today, Commissioner Lina Helstein. Ironic that you're actually the first commissioner some years ago, who's come in from Vilnius today to join us. Lina was part of the ceremonial seating and the ratification ceremony of this court in 2015. It's delightful to see you again. Our tribunal did visit her at the request of some good parliamentarians and justices in Lithuania in 2016, and we look forward to coming back to Lithuania at some point. Commissioner Helstein is going to speak briefly on juridical corruption within Eastern Europe. You're greatly welcomed here, Commissioner Helstein.
Thank you, Sasha, for such a nice introduction, and I feel really very honored to be the last speaker. After hearing all this, I must be very open and very truthful. I have changed all my so-called speech because it's the honor of the last speaker to make some optimism, to make some very optimistic view into the future. How can we support each other, and how can we, being now the minority of the world, just become the majority of the world? Because otherwise, who knows, maybe we can just think about the end of the world. And I'm very serious, because Lithuanians and Latvians now are speaking about the end of the Republic of Lithuania. Yes, it's not a joke. So where is the optimism of all this? In that case, I really want to pass all the greetings and all the greatest support from my getting bigger and bigger army of tribunal warriors, as they call them, in the Eastern Europe. Why it's enlarging so quickly? Now I see a great optimism and a great maybe possibility to explore this region, Eastern Europe. I mean, Baltic countries, which are a highly educated region of the post-communistic territory. We can be absolutely useful for the Western world, and you can help us to survive. That's the point. And this is not only spiritual, but it's also logical. But why I am so optimistic? The same soul, the same sparkling eyes, which I see when I'm listening to the accounts, even judges, barristers. It's very strange to hear optimistic speeches of the barristers and judges in Lithuania. The same sparkling eyes we share here. It means that really a new society is in the process of giving birth to society in society. Lots of people wake up. Another stimuli why we can just believe that we can become the majority of the world. So I just put 3 points why we are able to be optimistic. Because the numbers of people who were affected by the people trafficking phenomenon or child abuse is so enormous. We have lots of clients. We have lots of supporters who have already failed in their belief that, yes, the government organization will help. Maybe the social organizations will help. No. Now they are looking for the new leader. And who knows? No, we know. We must believe in ourselves, because we are in the period, in the moment, when all the nations and all societies are looking for a new leader. just not for a joke, but that's a very sad reality. In Lithuania now, what a specific virus of people trafficking politics and child abuse. I want just for you to pay attention to what is happening in these regions and why we can be so successful. Because all these tragedies just begin to live in these regions. People are very emotional. People are very spiritual. And government is in just a very strange situation. Government is not so experienced that you have in the West. Our government is a bit weaker, so we can use this. Our government is saying like this, and social organizations are supporting this. No, please don't smile. We do not have people trafficking. No. That's you, Western people, that are rotten societies. We are not. That is media tongue in the Eastern Europe. Do we have child abuse in Eastern Europe? No, we do not. It's happening in the West. But nevertheless, we have opening cases, opening scandals. And just recently we had really, Sasha knows very well about that judge who is now sitting in the prison in USA. And the little girls who were witnesses of child, yes, they were abused. And all the relatives, all the neighbors saw all this. Is a greatest scandal for the whole Eastern European countries. And what is interesting about that, all the media says, yes, we do not have child abuse. But when the girls were taken away from their families because they were witnesses, they had to be destroyed. They had to be taken away. So the army with all guns and 2,000 of fully armed army people were taking 2 girls from the family. You know, all these events are absolutely prompting that, yes, this is the region where we can just raise the people. They are waiting for somebody just to help to recognize the phenomenon. Speaking about people trafficking, I would love to point out a very peculiar feature of this virus, because a virus is mutating. Pay attention to this. This people trafficking, as we were speaking about that poor boy and many other cases. Yes, it's very brutal. It's horrible. But this is open. In such educated countries as post-communistic countries, Baltic countries, no, we do not call people trafficking like this. No, we are not paying for this. But we are speaking about emigration in the horrible, horrible level. I can say that lots of Lithuanian boys, it's horrible. They are working in UK for £100 a week. And this is called free emigration, just exchanging cultures. Some of the social organizations are inspiring for this. So how does it happen that such an immigration happens? Because legal system, yes, legal system is involved in that. Because if you want educated doctor, educated entrepreneur to leave the country and to work for £200 in London, so you must just imitate bankruptcy, you must steal the property, and this happens massively. So I do not want to go so deep because it was so nicely analyzed from all different aspects. The point that I discerned as very valuable while speaking about the Eastern region, I said that, yes, our forces, not only in the truth, yes, it's the first step. Then we must hunt for souls, for thousands, for millions of people. And the start is absolutely wonderful in these countries where people trafficking and child abuse phenomena just begin. People get acquainted with this and they are horrified. One more very inspiring and helpful detail. Even Lithuanian priests have asked, yes, before seeing me off here, they began speaking with me. I'm speaking about sincere priests, not about those who are the clients of pedophilia entrepreneurs. They asked for the help. Maybe we can just take hands. Because the shame and the blame upon the church is so high that really sincere priesthood is already thinking about cooperating with different organizations because they can't cope with this. So that's my new speech instead of the one that I wanted.
Thank you,
because
Commissioner.
I think we are in the right way and we have all 3 points for our to be optimistic.
Thank you. Chief Counsel.
I have been, I've just been so impressed by everybody I've met as part of this process, and I completely agree. I think the Eastern European countries, after years of abuse by the Soviets and now years of abuse by the West, are just now finding their way. I have a question for you. Well, first let me say, as a question for you, but rooted in my own experience, what I'm finding is that it's roughly 10% of the priests that are bad. Is that your experience? I mean, it's a minority.
I can just...
Whatever you wish to say.
Okay. First of all, I want to say why I know so well what I'm going to say. It's maybe the good favor, the good chance for me. I have many friends in the very high ranks of the priesthood of Lithuania. And in Lithuania, we do not have this illness so big, so ugly, that we could say that, yes, it's already an epidemic illness. Priests try to escape from all this shame because this is Catholic. These countries are Catholic countries. Poland, you know what is Poland in meaning of the church? Yes, it's horrible to know that, yes, the church is not a church. I should assign like 10% of bad priests, but they do so bad job, and they do it openly.
If I could, a second question, and then that will be the last question. I've heard from many other witnesses that in many countries the police are actually delivering the children, that the parents are renting the children out and the police are actually providing the taxi service. Do you have any insights onto whether children are being rented by parents and whether the police or some other authority is used as the transport service?
Not in the Eastern countries yet, not yet, but the phenomenon is beginning. These 2 girls that I mentioned before, this major case which trembled the whole country, it was a suspicion that mothers were lending these girls. Mm-hmm. Yes, for the money. But neither court, neither government, neither social organizations never presented any evidence, never helped court. So the only guilty and the shame of the whole nation now is against the court. The court is the worst, and that's all.
We are the power behind the ITNJ. Add your voice. Sign the treaty.